Because of the amount of time it takes to manage and identify propagation issues, that is, duplicate business listings caused by either inconsistent or missing data or by conflation at the aggregator level, this is an area where having software to help with your SEO efforts is really important. And I'm going to show you how to identify propagation issues using a free software tool called the Check Listing tool by Moz. So again, don't worry, this is free. If you want to find it at any time, you can always just Google Check Listing Moz. The results in those pages is going to take you here. You can also go to Moz Local and find the Check Listing tool, as you can see in the top level navigation. So what you do with the check listing tool is you identify where there's inconsistent data around your business listing. It's as simple as putting in your business name and the zip code associated with your business. Here, I'm using a classic example, which is Starbucks in downtown Seattle. We can imagine that there are going to be a lot of different Starbucks options in the listings with that zip code. So let's take a look. You just click on check listing. And what happens is you get to this screen, which is a list of business listings that show whether or not they've been verified or not. And so you can see on the right-hand side here, it says, what does verified mean? Well, a verified listing is one that can be found on Google Maps or Facebook. So there are these two different sources of truth. So if you have a Google Map or Google My Business listing or a Facebook listing, those will be considered verified listings. Now, what you would do is we see that there are quite a few different Starbucks. Some of them have, they all have different addresses. And what we'd do is you'd go and find the listing that is most accurate. That is the one that best represents your business, because we may have potentially some conflicts within these. So we check to see which one of those. So let's click on one of them, and that'll take us into the tool itself. Once we are in the check listing tool, you can see that you have a percentage that says current score percentage, and then that's on the tab called complete. This means how complete on a 100% scale, how complete is your listing for the address that's listed in the top left corner? So is it very complete, or does it have a lot of gaps? In this case, it looks like there's a lot of gaps. You can see in the tabs below that there are things like incomplete information, inconsistent information, and then a broader section on duplicate content overall. So if we go and we click on that duplicates tab and open that up, what we see is we see these different platforms. You can see Facebook in the first two, Axiom, Yellow Pages, different platforms where a duplicate has been identified. And now in this case, what we're seeing is we're seeing various Starbucks restaurants in this area, in the zip code, competing with the listing that we have. So these are either correct duplicates or they are perceived as duplicates. Look at each one of these different identified duplicates. In the first case, we're looking at the Starbucks Reserve. That is not actually the correct listing. So we have a business that is out there that is competing with our own business listing. The other ones, you can see that there are some that are both on the same street, but they're not the correct, they're not exactly the correct address. There's another that has maybe a different phone number or a different URL associated with it. So Starbucks versus Starbucks Coffee. There's one that says facebook.com/Starbucks, another one that says starbucks.com. So each one of these different elements could be perceived as a duplicate, and you want to use software to go out and identify them as well as mitigate and control them over time, just based purely on the amount of effort it takes for an individual to go out and correctly identify and manage all of their different duplicates.